The electric Mercedes rolled to a silent stop. David Thompson, 41, billionaire, stepped out carrying a small blue gift box tied with ribbon. Inside, Earl Grey tea from London, the exact brand Ruth used to save for when he got A's on his report card. He was smiling like a 9-year-old again. Flashback, Chicago, 1989. A skinny white boy with bruises on his arms stands at the door of a tiny South Side apartment. Ruth Williams, 35, exhausted from a double nursing shift, opens a door still wearing scrubs. The social worker says no one else would take him. Ruth kneels, looks the boy in the eyes, and whispers, "Baby, from today this is home. And I'm your mama now." She hugs him so tight, he finally stops shaking. Back to present, Malibu, 2025. David walks toward the kitchen, humming the same lullaby Ruth sang when nightmares woke him. Then he hears the voice that shatters everything. "Use the servant's entrance, Ruth. My friends mustn't think I live with the help." Isabella. David freezes behind a marble pillar. Ruth's voice small broken. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Isabella. I just brought groceries." "You're the maid. Act like it." Flashback, 1995. 12-year-old David comes home with a split lip. Rich kids at school called him Charity Case. Ruth cleans the blood with a warm cloth, voice steady. "Never let anybody make you feel small because of where we live or what color I am. One day you'll be bigger than all of them, and you'll lift others up the way I'm lifting you." Present. David peers around the corner. Ruth, his Ruth, is wearing a gray maid uniform. The woman who sold her wedding ring to buy him his first computer is holding a mop while his wife towers over her in $3,000 heels. Isabella spits venom. "Stop leaving your nappy hair in my drain. From today you use the basement bathroom. No heating. Cold water will teach you your place." Ruth's hands tremble so violently the mop rattles. Flashback, 2000. 15-year-old David wins his first coding competition. He runs home waving the $500 check. Ruth is asleep on the couch, still in scrubs. 3 paychecks on the table, one from each hospital. He covers her with a blanket and whispers, "I'm going to buy you a castle one day, Mama." Present. Ruth whispers to herself, "I never should have left Chicago. This isn't my home." David's knees almost give out. He slips away silently, locks himself in the office, and opens a security app. 3 hours of footage. Every second is a knife. Isabella forcing Ruth to eat cold leftovers on the basement floor while she eats caviar upstairs. Isabella hiding Ruth's coat in January, laughing as Ruth shivers at night. The worst. 2 weeks ago, Ruth baked a cake for their 32nd adoption anniversary. Candles lit. Card that read, "To my son, love Mama." Isabella walks in, sneers. Delusional old woman playing mommy smashes the cake into the trash, forces Ruth to clean it on her knees. When David called from Tokyo asking if Ruth liked a surprise dinner, Isabella lied sweetly. She cried happy tears. "Honey, you're the best son." Ruth had cried alone in the dark basement, eating a stale sandwich. David closes the laptop. His eyes are dry now, because the boy who once promised his exhausted mother he would protect people like her just became a billionaire with unlimited resources. And Isabella has exactly 72 hours left as mistress of this house. Every tear Ruth cried has been converted into 4K evidence. And the son she raised on love and double shifts is about to remind the world what happens when you make his mama cry. David sat in the dark office. Laptop glowed the only light. He wasn't watching the footage anymore. He was reliving every second Ruth had suffered while he was busy conquering the world. Flashback, 1992. Age 10. David comes home crying because classmates called him the white kid with a black maid. Ruth sits him on the tiny kitchen counter, wipes his tears with her sleeve still smelling of hospital bleach. "Listen to me, baby. Love doesn't check skin color at the door. I chose you. You chose me. That makes us family forever. Nobody gets to tell us different." Present. David's fists clench so hard the laptop creaks. Another video plays. Isabella, 3 nights ago, screaming at Ruth for using the guest bathroom. Animals belong outside. Basement toilet from now on. Ruth head bowed, whispering, "Yes, ma'am." Flashback, 1998, age 16. David gets accepted to MIT early decision. He runs into the apartment, waving the letter. Ruth is asleep on the couch again, 3 nursing badges still pinned to her coat. He gently removes them, covers her with his jacket, and cries because she never once complained about working 80 hours a week so he could chase dreams. Present. David wipes his face. No tears left, only fire. He opens Isabella's phone backup. Rivera, the private investigator, had cloned it yesterday while she was at Pilates. The WhatsApp group Malibu Elite Wives lights up like a sewer. Isabella, the old maid, tried to sit at the main table again, faced with tears of joy, had to remind her she's hired help. Jennifer Walsh, girl, just ship her back to the ghetto already. Patricia Sterling, I'm documenting my mother-in-law's dementia too. Sunny Acres takes anyone if you pay enough. David's blood turns to lava. Then the final message from Isabella, sent last night. Spot opens Monday at Sunny Acres. Forge David's signature already. One more episode, tomorrow, and the van comes. Problem solved, permanently smiling face with horns. David closes a laptop. He walks to the basement. Ruth is folding laundry under a single bare bulb. Hands cracked from cold water. Flashback, 2004, age 22. Graduation day. David in cap and gown. Ruth in the audience wearing her only good dress, the one she saved for 2 years to buy. When they call his name, she stands and cheers so loud security almost escorts her out. After the ceremony, he finds her crying behind the auditorium. She whispers, I knew you'd make it, baby. I always knew. Present. David kneels in front of her. Mama, why didn't you tell me? Ruth tries to smile. Didn't want to spoil your marriage. Thought maybe I was too old. Too much trouble. David takes her cracked hands. You are my whole world. And she just declared war on it. He helps her stand. No more basement. No more uniforms. From tonight, you sleep in the master wing. With me. Ruth's eyes fill. Baby, I don't need fancy. You raised me in a 2-room apartment with love bigger than this mansion. Now it's my turn. He leads her upstairs, past the kitchen where Isabella is still laughing on the phone with her racist friends. David pauses at the doorway, voice calm steel. Isabella, family meeting. Living room. Now. Isabella rolls her eyes. Can it wait? Jennifer's on the line. Now. Something in his tone makes her hang up. She walks in, still smirking. What's this about? David presses play on the 85-inch TV. The basement cake smashing video fills the screen. Isabella's face drains of color. Then the WhatsApp chats. Then the forged Sunny Acres documents. David never raises his voice. You have until Monday morning to disappear from this house and my life. Divorce papers are already filed. Prenup you laughed about signing? Ironclad. You leave with exactly what you brought. Nothing. Isabella tries to speak. Nothing comes out. David continues. TMZ, LA Times, page 6. They all get the full package at 9 a.m. Monday, unless you're gone by sunrise. Your choice. He turns to Ruth, wraps an arm around her. And Mama, she's not going anywhere. Ever again. Isabella finds her voice. David, we can fix this. No. You broke what can't be fixed. Flashback. Ruth's words at 3 a.m. when he had nightmares. Some people only learn when the pain they give comes back wearing their own face. David looks at Isabella one last time. Lesson starts now. He walks away with his mother's hand in his. Behind them, Isabella collapses to the marble floor as her perfect world begins to burn. And the boy who once promised a tired nurse he would protect people like her just kept the biggest promise of his life. Monday, 6:03 a.m. The moving truck is already in the driveway. Isabella stands on the front steps in last season's Chanel, mascara streaking, clutching one Louis Vuitton suitcase. The only thing the prenup allows her to keep. David watches from the balcony, arm around Ruth, who is wearing soft pajamas and the warmest smile she's had in years. Flashback, 1991, age 9. First night in Ruth's tiny apartment. David wakes screaming from a nightmare about being abandoned again. Ruth rushes in, scoops him up, rocks him for hours. She sings his eye is on a sparrow until he falls asleep against her chest. She never complains about the lost sleep, even though she has a 5 a.m. shift. Present, Isabella screams up at the balcony. "You're destroying me for an old woman who was paid to take you in." Ruth flinches at the word paid. David's voice is quiet thunder. "She was never paid a cent state aid, ended when I was 11. Every extra shift after that was for me." He lifts Ruth's cracked, hard-working hands for the security camera to see. "These hands paid for my dreams. Yours only know how to hurt." He presses send on his phone. Every major outlet receives a full package at the same moment. Headline within 8 minutes. Billionaire's wife exposed forcing black adoptive mother into maid uniform and planning forced nursing home commitment. The WhatsApp group chats are published verbatim. The cake in the trash video goes viral first. 87 million views in 6 hours. Jennifer Walsh and Patricia Sterling are photographed leaving their mansions with boxes. Their husbands' companies lose $400 million combined in stock value by noon. Isabella's phone explodes with blocked numbers. Her friends publicly denounce her to save themselves. She tries one last time. "David, please. I'll disappear quietly. Just stop the stories." David walks down the steps, stands 2 feet from her. Flashback 2002, age 20. David's first startup fails. Investors laugh him out of the room. He comes home to Chicago broke and ashamed. Ruth is waiting with a homemade cake. Same recipe she used for every birthday. She says, "Falling is how wings grow, baby. Get up. Mama believes in you." That night, he codes until sunrise. 6 months later, he sells his second company for $180 million. Present, David looks Isabella dead in the eyes. "My mother taught me that real family picks you up when the world knocks you down. You tried to knock her into the ground while I wasn't looking." He gestures to the truck. "Leave, and never speak her name again." Isabella drops to her knees on the gravel, sobbing. Security gently escorts her to the waiting car. As the gates close behind her, Ruth finally lets herself cry. Not from pain, but from relief. David kneels, hugs the way she hugged him that first terrifying night in Chicago. "I'm sorry I was gone so much, Mama. Never again." Ruth cups his face with those same cracked hands. "Baby, you came back the second you heard me hurting. That's all that matters." Flashback 2010. David, now 26 and newly rich, buys Ruth her first real house, a modest bungalow in Hyde Park. She cries when he hands her the keys. "I don't need big, baby. I just need you safe." He promises, "One day I'll give you the castle you deserve." Present, David stands, takes Ruth's hand, and leads her back inside. The mansion staff, every single one hired by Isabella, line the hallway holding signs. "Miss Ruth, welcome home. Family, not help. We quit if she ever comes back." David has already transferred ownership of the entire Malibu estate into Ruth's name alone. He gets on one knee in the foyer. "Mama, 15 years ago you gave me a home when I had none. Today I give you the castle I promised." Ruth laughs through tears. "Boy, all I ever needed was you coming home safe." David smiles. "Then let's make this place feel like Chicago again. Loud music, you're cooking, kids from the neighborhood running to the halls." He turns to the staff. "Burn every maid uniform in the house. Tonight we celebrate family." That evening the mansion glows with light and laughter for the first time in years. Ruth's old church friends from Chicago fly in. The kitchen smells of her famous peach cobbler. David watches his mother dance with people who love her. No uniforms, no fear, no basement. And for the first time since he was 9 years old, the scared little boy inside him finally feels safe too. Because the woman who chose him when no one else would just got chosen back. Louder, harder, forever. 1 year later, the Malibu mansion no longer looks like a cold palace. Every wall is covered with photographs. Ruth surrounded by laughing children. David teaching coding in the living room. Sunday dinners that spill into the garden. The basement bathroom has been converted into a recording studio for South Side kids who fly in every summer on full scholarships. The Malibu Elite Wives, what sap group is dead? Jennifer Walsh's husband filed for divorce. Patricia Sterling's family lost their real estate empire after every minority employee walked out and started a competing firm. Funded anonymously by David. Isabella lives in a one-bedroom in Reseda, working as a receptionist under her maiden name. Every job interview ends the same way. Google search, viral articles, door closed. But the Rayall story begins on a quiet Thursday morning. David walks into the kitchen, holding a thick envelope postmarked Chicago. Ruth looks up from making biscuits. "Who's that from, baby?" David's hands shake as he opens it. Inside, a letter in childish handwriting and a single Polaroid. The letter reads, "Dear Miss Ruth, my name is Jamal. I'm 10. I live in the same building you used to live in on 63rd Street. My mama works 3 jobs like you did. Mr. David is paying for me to go to coding camp this summer. He said you are the reason he helps kids like me. I just want to say thank you for choosing him when nobody else did, because now he chooses us. Love, Jamal." The Polaroid shows a skinny black boy in an oversized Thompson Tech t-shirt, grinning in front of the same apartment door Ruth once opened for a scared white boy 36 years ago. Ruth's knees buckle. David catches her as she cries. Big, healing sobs that have been locked inside for decades. Flashback, 1989, the very first week. 9-year-old David asks, "Why did you pick me? I'm not even your color." Ruth, bone-tired from a 16-hour shift, kneels and says, "Baby, love doesn't see color. Love sees children who need a mama. And I saw you. Present." Ruth clutches the letter to her chest. He kept his promise. He really did lift others up. David wipes his own eyes. "We kept our promise, Mama." Together. That afternoon they fly to Chicago. First class, Ruth's first time ever. They land at Midway and drive straight to the old neighborhood. The same cracked sidewalks. Same corner store. Same everything. Except now, there's a brand new building on the lot where Ruth's old apartment stood. A gleaming 6-story community center named. Ruth Williams Home Base. Built for every child who still needs choosing. Inside, free daycare, coding labs, nursing scholarships, trauma counseling, and a wall of fame. First portrait on the wall, Jamal, smiling in his oversized t-shirt. Second portrait, 9-year-old David, the day Ruth picked him up from foster care. Third portrait, Ruth at 67, arms open wide, surrounded by hundreds of kids who now call her Grandma Ruth. At the ribbon-cutting ceremony, David steps to the microphone. 36 years ago, a nurse with nothing but love opened her door and changed my life. Today we open these doors so no child ever has to sleep scared again. He turns to Ruth. "Mama, this is your castle. The one I promised when I was 15 and broke." Ruth can barely speak. She walks to the microphone, voice steady and strong. "I never needed marble floors. I needed my son to grow up kind. And look," she gestures to the sea of children from every background. He did. The crowd roars. Then David drops to one knee in front of everyone, holding up a small velvet box. Inside, the simple gold bracelet Ruth sold in 1999 to buy him his first laptop. He had it melted down and remade into a new bracelet engraved on the inside. "From the boy you chose, to the man who will always choose you back. Love, David." He fastens it around her wrist. Ruth pulls him into the biggest hug of their lives as cameras flash and children cheer. Later that night, back in Malibu, Ruth stands on the same balcony where David once watched Isabella leave in shame. She looks at the ocean and whispers to the stars, "We did it, baby. We really did it." And somewhere in a tiny Reseda apartment, Isabella scrolls past a viral video of the dedication ceremony. 12 million views and climbing. She sees the bracelet. She sees the children. She sees the love she tried to kill blooming bigger than she could ever imagine. She closes the phone. For the first time in her life, she is completely, utterly silent, because some victories don't need words. They just need a mother's love and a son who never forgot it. 25 years later, 2050, the Ruth Williams Global Home Base Network now spans 41 countries. 412 centers. 2.8 million children chosen who never have to sleep scared again. Every building has the same front door painted bright blue, the exact shade of the tiny Chicago apartment door roof, open for a 9-year-old boy in 1989. David Thompson, now 66, silver-haired, still wearing the same simple watch Ruth bought him for high school graduation, stands on the rooftop of the original Chicago Center. Today is the 61st anniversary of the day Ruth signed the adoption papers. Below him, 50,000 people have gathered, graduates, foster kids, nurses, coders, presidents, janitors, all here for one reason. Ruth Williams, 92 years old, frail but eyes still sparkling, is wheeled to the stage in a chair draped with a quilt made from every T-shirt of the kids she helped raise. David kneels beside her, just like he did when he was 9 and scared. "Mama, one last surprise." He signals. The curtain drops. A 10-foot bronze statue is unveiled. Ruth at 35, arms wide open, holding little 9-year-old David by the hand. At the base, engraved in her own handwriting, "I didn't adopt a child. I chose my son, and he spent his whole life choosing others back." The crowd loses it. Grown men sob openly. David takes the microphone, voice cracking. 61 years ago, a nurse with $11 in her checking account decided love was bigger than blood. She never asked for statues or headlines. She just asked me to be kind. He turns to Ruth. Today the world says thank you. He raises her hand. Every screen on Earth lights up with the same message in 87 languages. Thank you, Mama Ruth, for teaching us that family is a choice. And love is the only inheritance that multiplies when you give it away. Then the children, thousands of them, start singing his "Eye is on the Sparrow," the lullaby she sang to David on his first night. Ruth's eyes close. Tears rolled down cheeks that have smiled through every storm. David leans close, whispers so only she can hear. "I kept my promise, Mama. I built the castle, and I never forgot where I came from." Ruth squeezes his hand, still strong enough for that. She whispers back, voice soft but clear as 1989. "And I never stopped being proud of the man you became, baby. You were always my biggest dream." The song ends. Silence falls over 50,000 people. Then one little girl, 9 years old, new foster placement, clutching a blue teddy bear, walks up the steps. She stands in front of Ruth, exactly where David stood 61 years ago. The girl holds out her hand. Ruth takes it, and in front of the whole world, Ruth Williams does what she was born to do one last time. She chooses another child. The little girl hugs her and says loud enough for every microphone, "I choose you too, Grandma Ruth." David drops to his knees, crying the way he did when he was 9, only this time from joy. The cameras zoom in on the bracelet he gave her 25 years ago, still on her wrist, now joined by a tiny new charm, a little blue door. Later that night, Ruth falls asleep in the same bedroom where David once had nightmares. David sits beside her, holding her hand, singing the lullaby back to her for the first time. At 11:47 p.m., Ruth Williams takes one final peaceful breath, smiling. The world learns the news at midnight. Every Ruth Williams center lights up blue. Every graduate posts the same photo, the statue, the little girl, the bracelet, and one message floods the internet in every language on Earth. She chose us. Now we choose each other. Forever. David buries her under a simple stone that reads, "Ruth Williams, Mama, she opened one door and changed the world." At the funeral, the little girl with the blue teddy bear places a single Earl Grey tea bag on the casket. David smiles through tears. He knows Ruth is finally resting, because the scared boy she saved grew up and made sure no child would ever be left on the doorstep again. And somewhere in whatever place love goes when it leaves the body, Ruth Williams is still opening bright blue doors, one child at a time, forever.